Hey, how's it going? I was just here on a Sunday and just thought I'd do a live. I just haven't done one in a while, and I just figured I'd do a little live talking about overcoming confidence issues. And this is kind of based around a question, or not a question, a comment that got made to me the other day. Kind of a question, I guess. But I was teaching a class, and one of the stylists asked me, like, how did I become so confident, or essentially it was, how did I become so confident in haircutting, and or did you always possess the confidence? And I obviously laughed a little bit because I did not always have confidence when it comes to haircutting. I did not always have confidence when it comes to even teaching and things like that. I'm a fairly confident person, but I always like to have some knowledge in the bank on whatever I'm going to be obviously talking about, or a little bit of knowledge about something I'm going to be doing. So anyway, I'm answering that question, talking a little bit about how I approached becoming more confident, especially with haircutting, and things that I did right off the bat, like early on in my career when I was feeling inadequate with skills such as haircutting. I would like seek out information. I would even seek inside, what was it that I was struggling with? Thanks for joining, everybody. I would seek out, what was it I was struggling with? Was I struggling with the foundations, like of haircutting? Did I even understand really the foundations? Or was I struggling with like the artistic side of haircutting? And sometimes fundamentals and arts, they go together, especially with haircutting. And then I also looked inside and said, am I struggling with what tools to use? Or, and then as I got farther in my career, sometimes you look inside and ask, well, am I just feeling uninspired? Am I bored with what I'm doing? And I need to seek out education because I need something to sort of, shoot me back into inspiration and motivation. So, so I wrote a few things down, so I might be looking down at my notes a little bit. I tried to come a little bit prepared for this because, why not be prepared? So, the first thing though that I did, I guess, after I seeked internally for what I was needing, was then I needed to seek out the education that I wanted, or the education that I felt, would best suit my needs at the time. And so, I started going to classes. I would be taking haircutting classes from, educators that I admired or liked their work. And sometimes you take those classes, and sometimes the way they teach, you might be like, well, this isn't really helping me. Sometimes the way they would teach, sometimes I would go to these classes and they'd be, teaching these haircuts that I kind of didn't really even understand how I would use this haircut. I didn't understand how I would use this technique or skill they were teaching. So I found myself sometimes in classes being very confused even. And I learned from that too. I mean, there would be definitely some small takeaways, but anyway, so that led me into okay, well, maybe I need to seek out, maybe another educator or another company that I want to learn from or whatever. So I would go, maybe to a new class, obviously find what I was needing, and take another class, and I'd learn, and I would, then start to understand, the concepts. And that was the next step of after me seeking out the knowledge I needed. Was I actually understanding it? And part of understanding for me is then doing, so I would get the skills, understand the skills, and then I would start practicing the skills. And so those two things together, the understanding and practicing, I think those are almost like a little circle, that just kind of keep going around. Is if you're not understanding, you need to keep practicing. And then as you practice, you start to understand. So that was something that helped me. So I would go to class, get some knowledge, I would understand it as best I could, then I would practice it, which would give me a better understanding. And then after I felt like I practiced enough and I was getting a predictable result, I would, practice on mannequin, sometimes on, maybe a client. I would practice on a client and get at least, some real life practice in. and then I would get a predictable result with what I was doing. Then I would start applying that skill or that technique or whatever it was I was trying to learn. Then I would start applying that to my actual clients. Then I'm having clients come in and they're asking for a certain haircut or asking for a certain look, and then I would know, okay, that thing I took a class on about that haircut, about bobs or about pixies or shags or whatever it was, that haircutting class I took. This is going to work. I practiced it on that mannequin so many times. I feel like I'm good here. I'm going to use that now. I'm going to apply that to this particular client, and I'm going to do this haircut on them. And you start doing that, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this works. This is working for me, and this is getting me predictable results now on my clients and making my clients happy and satisfied and things like that. And so at the end, though, of that, as you start applying the skill to the client, to that real life situation, my last thing that I would do is then I would start asking my clients, what do you think of this? Or how, actually a better question is, a lot of times I would say, hey, I think this looks great, but what do you think? And that question is, there's no yes or no answer. It's an open-ended question, which are sometimes scary to ask, an open-ended question. And I remember being like, that was another like fearful thing for me, was like, you're like giving them the opportunity. It's like you're scared to do that at some point and saying, well, what do you think? And then they would say either, oh my gosh, I love it, I think this is amazing. And I would say, do you think there's anything I can improve on it today? Like any tweaks you want to make today? And they would say, nope, I think it looks great. I'll go home and I won't know till I style it myself. We hear that a lot as stylists. Great. Well, once you do that, let me know, send me a text and let me know if you have any issues with it. I would like to know. And I would ask them and tell them those things, and so that I could get that actual feedback from my clients. And again, those are things that started building my confidence as well. And even if you ask those questions to the client, you might ask that question and say, hey, I like this. I think this looks great on you, but what do you think? And they say, oh, I might have gone I think I might have gone too short, or maybe even better. I actually think I maybe could have gone shorter with it. I think you could have gone shorter, or I think you could have maybe we could have done a different bang or something. And you say, okay, well, I could tweak that right now if you want to. And they might say, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to live with it for a week. I'll go home and style it out myself. Okay, great. If you have any issues with it, just let me know. I'd love to fix it for you. And those are things that build my confidence too. So that's building my confidence, because at least I know I got a predictable result from what I did. Even if they're unsure about it right then, they can go home, test it out on themselves, and then get back to you. And again, that builds two-way confidence too. That builds their confidence in you, that you are confident enough to, either fix it if they need it fixed, or tweak it if they need it tweaked. They know that you know what you're doing. So I think that's a really good way to build even confidence between you and your clients as well. So I think that, really, recapping this whole conversation I just had with you is that, whenever you're wanting to overcome confidence issues, you're feeling inadequate in a certain skill, you're feeling inadequate in some certain way, and you see yourself like, I want to be here. I want to be able to do this thing, but I feel like I'm over here and I don't know how to close the gap. And for me, closing the gap was that sort of like 5 steps that I took of seeking out what was causing me to feel inadequate. That was one. And then the other part of one is then seeking out the education that I needed, that I felt would best suit me. And then 2 was then understanding the knowledge I was getting, making sure I was understanding it. And then practicing it. Number 3 is practicing until you get predictable outcomes. So practice something until you get predictable outcomes. And then 4 was then start applying it to those real life situations. So apply it to your actual clients, apply it to the actual situation you're in. And then 5 was then asking the client, what do you think? And asking, can I make any changes for you? Asking, how can I make it better or your experience better? And those 5 things are what built my confidence over the years of just continually doing it. And I still do that when there's something that I'm maybe feeling inadequate with. I'm seeking out information, I'm seeking out an educator, or I'm seeking out someone to mentor me or whatever it is. And then understanding that information and then practicing that for my skills, and then obviously applying the new skill, applying the information, and then asking for feedback. So those are the things. That's my sort of my framework. And if that's something that you feel like you're needing to work through, I want you to send me a DM, slide into my DMs, and just send me a message and say, yeah, like I feel like I'm whatever, inadequate in cutting. If that's cutting, I can definitely help you there. If I'm inadequate with something else, but just hit me up in the DMs, and I will send you my framework. It's like there's some questions that you can go through to help you identify maybe what where your gaps are, and help you identify maybe that where you need to improve, and then just get you on that sort of circle, that cycle of figuring out how to build your confidence. So if you want my framework, it's called my Confidence Catalyst Framework. If you want that, just hit me up in DMs and I'll get that to you this coming week. And we can just chat more there too. And I'd love to just, even connect with you a little bit more there. And that's what I do. I love helping stylists. I love helping people get to the next level. And I feel like I've had so many people that have helped me do that in my career. And I'm now sort of like wanting to do that for others in this industry as well. This industry is amazing. And I feel like it's in a place where we've got to continue on. The seasoned hairstylists, the ones who've been in it, for 10, 15, 20 years, it's like you've got to have a place to sort of pour your love and pour your knowledge into. And if that's you, then I want you to hit me up. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for the people that were here watching. If any of you guys have any questions or anything you want to share, like put it in the comments. Like go ahead. If you guys are hairstylists and you want to chat a little bit while I'm on, we can talk about that too. So I have a lot of people waving hello. So I thank you for some people are dropping in and jumping out, and that's fine too. I do that sometimes. But if you guys have any questions or anything you want to say, just feel free. I'll hang out here for maybe 20 seconds or something, see if anybody jumps in. And if not, that's okay too. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it, taking a little time out to watch me and listen to how I overcame my confidence issues. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I know that I'm going to. It looks like the sun's coming out here in Colorado. Finally, it feels like we've been living in the Northwest. Yeah, absolutely applicable to any business. Yes, Homes by Dharma. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm going to get outside and hang out with my son a little bit. So I will talk to you later. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. See ya.